Are you struggling with anxiety or OCD, but you haven't told your family? You don't know how to talk to your parents? We're going to talk all about that. Stay tuned. That's what's up next. Hi, my name is Natasha Daniels. I'm a child therapist and I make videos for kids with anxiety or OCD. I have gotten a lot of requests to make a video to talk about how do you discuss your anxiety or your OCD to your parents. So a lot of you are out there on YouTube Googling things late at night, watching videos like me and learning about your anxiety or learning about your OCD, really understanding your struggles, but you're alone. You haven't told your mom or your dad, you haven't told anyone, and maybe you're scared to discuss this with them. And I want to go into why that might be and what to do about it, because you definitely don't want to do this alone. Struggling silently and feeling like you have all this burden going on and no one else knows about it, it's not good for you on many levels. It adds to your stress because you're stuffing things. You have to kind of have a mask and pretend that everything is fine when nothing is fine underneath it. People might be misunderstanding you. They might think that you're difficult or not social, or that you're oppositional, or you're just refusing to do things for no reason. They might see it as a behavior problem. So they might totally misunderstand you. They might think you have a lot of quirks or rituals if you have OCD that they don't get. Maybe they even make fun of you or they joke about it because they don't realize it's a serious condition. We are all different, and your situation is probably different than another person who's watching this. But maybe all of you are keeping those secrets inside. And this is not a do-it-yourself kind of issue. Anxiety or OCD can get very, very hard to handle. And although I love helping you and giving you tips, you need more help than just me or other YouTubers or other videos, whatever you're looking at online. I'm glad it's a start because at least you know what's going on. But let's talk about how do you talk about it with your mom or your dad. The first step I would say is figure out what are you worried about. So ask yourself, what will be the worst thing that can happen in my anxious mind? What does my anxiety say will happen if I tell my mom or my dad? What will they say? What will they do? Even if you think it maybe doesn't make sense and you know they won't do it, what is your worries telling you? Because we want to tap into that first and figure out what is your core fear around discussing it with your parents. And it will be different for each one of you. Maybe some of you are worried that they won't understand. Maybe some of you will think that they're going to think you're crazy or think that you're weird. And so you're nervous or feeling guilty about your thoughts. Maybe some of you think that they will, shrug it off and they'll tell you, stop watching YouTube or stop Googling things. You're fine. We're all fine. You're just having a rough day. So maybe you're worried they're going to minimize it, make small your struggles. Or maybe you think they're going to tell everybody or make a really big deal about it, send you somewhere, make you talk to someone. It is going to be different for each person. And that's why I'm just giving you some examples of possibly some of the things and some of the fears that you have. So you want to pick a parent that you think is going to be the most understanding. I do recommend trying to pick one parent so you can just talk one-on-one without trying to get too overwhelmed with having two different people coming at you at one time. So think about your mom and dad. Who are you closer to? Who can you open up to more? And even if it's neither, which one would be better than the other one? Not to say that you're not going to discuss it with the other parent, but you want to start off with someone who's a little bit more of your go-to person so that you can talk to them privately. Or maybe it's a relative like a grandma or an aunt or an uncle. Then start there and get their advice about how to approach your mom or dad, because they probably know your mom or dad really well, and that would be a good place to start. So then when you talk to your mom or your dad, one of them, you want to first discuss your fears. I always think it's really good to start off a conversation with what you're nervous about. So you might say something like, and I'm just going to make this up just to give you an example. You might say, Mom, I want to talk to you about some feelings I'm having, but I haven't told you yet because I'm really worried that you might laugh at me. Or I'm really concerned that you might just, shrug it off and you might not realize how big of a deal it is for me and how much I've been struggling for a really long time, even if you don't see it. Or I'm worried that, you might think I'm weird or crazy, or I'm worried that you might send me somewhere. And so before I talk to you about this, I just want to make sure that you're going to be okay with that. And when you do that with your mom, let's just talk about your mom. We're just going to use that as the example. When you do that, you've already kind of called that behavior out. And so your parent will be more aware of not doing that, hopefully. Now, some of you, I don't know, because I don't know your parent, but whenever I'm talking to someone and I'm nervous about talking to them, I'll always say why I'm nervous first to get that off my shoulders and to let them know this is kind of where I'm coming from. And then you want to be really specific. And so I would say before you approach your mom, we're just talking about your mom today. It could be your dad, it could be your aunt or your grandma, whatever. But write down a list of your symptoms. And so give very specific examples, like I get anxious about going to school because I'm worried that this might happen. Or I have OCD because I worry about, I have this intrusive thought and I have to do this compulsion to make myself feel better. Whatever it is, and it'll be different for obviously all of you, write it all down, because when you're talking to your parent, you're not going to have a clear mind. You're going to be kind of overwhelmed and you're going to forget about that. And they're going to want examples because they may think that you don't know what you're talking about. They may think that you don't know yourself, and you do. So spend a couple of days writing down examples of what you're thinking, what causes your anxiety or what causes your OCD. And if you're a little bit older, obviously you found this YouTube channel, so you're probably pretty good at getting around online. You can find articles or things that kind of prove what you're talking about. I would always recommend going to the International OCD Foundation. They have a really good website, and it's iocdf.org. And I will link the parent section to the International OCD Foundation so that you can see some good resources to refer your parents to kind of bolster your point and let them know that yes, it is OCD, and OCD isn't just about washing your hands or being a neat freak, or yes, it is anxiety and it's beyond worries or normal, and this is why. So I will link a whole bunch of resources down below, and you can look at those and see if those are something good that you can print out, or you can just show your parent to kind of back you up with some good facts. Please do it though. I think it's super important to go talk to your parent, because there is a lot of support and a lot of help. And I'm raising 3 kids with anxiety and OCD. And if I didn't know what they were going through, sometimes I'd probably get frustrated and angry with them. But because I know their struggles, a lot of times I know it's not them, it's their anxiety, or it's not them, it's their OCD. And I have more patience with them in those moments. And that's what I would hope for you as well. And for OCD especially, you really need to get into an OCD therapist. And I will leave a link to where you find an OCD therapist. It's the International OCD Foundation, but they have a special resource page that lists all the different therapists in the United States, I believe, so that you can ask your parent for help, because OCD treatment is very specific and you want to get someone who actually knows what they're talking about. Otherwise, it can kind of do more damage than good. So you want to find someone on the OCD website so that they are OCD trained. And you really can't beat OCD at home. Anxiety, you can try. It's definitely nice to get the extra support. But with OCD, you want to get into treatment as soon as you can. So you need a parent for that, right? You can't just show up at some therapist and just be like, hello, I'm 15 and I'm ready to sign up for your therapy. And they'll be like, where's your parent? And you're like, oh, I don't talk to her. You can't do that. So I hope this helped a bit, and I will talk to you again next week. Don't forget to find the sparkle in everything you do, and I'll see you on Thursday. Take care.